So welcome to the Galactic Mayan Weather Report. It's a potent time as we enter into the 13-day wave spell of the Red Serpent. Yesterday, actually, I'm recording this in the White Lunar World Bridger Day. And this Red Serpent wave spell is 13 days, really dedicated to activating life force, that sacred activist inside us. And, we get caught up in activism in these last 10 years, especially since it's been so easy to do from a keyboard or from our mobile phones. But there's plenty who have been in the last couple of years really inspired to get out there and walk and walk their talk and take action. But what this Red Serpent is really asking for is to wake up our life force and to act from that really grounded, sacred activist place. So what do I mean by that is, a sacred activist is somebody who acts upon the sacred, not on the mental idea of morality. And that's a challenging thing to do, to be able to truly trust in this concept of thy will be done. My higher self has already got a connection into what's happening here. It's not for my mind that is conditioned from a life of happenings and, all kinds of things that might be conditioning the way I perceive reality. Because if I try to move from that place, if I try to be an activist from that mental place of right and wrong, from my conditioning, my hurts, my woes, my sadness, my joys, and all these things, then often it creates this field of interference where it's actually more of a fight with myself that I'm having, as opposed to really genuinely, authentically taking action to make change out in the world itself. So the sacred activist is not about fighting. The Red Serpent energy sometimes in its shadow side can get very feisty and very fiery. And its challenge, and our challenge during this 13 days, is to connect with its antipode, the opposite that strengthens it, which is the blue eagle. So it's remembering that as much as we are here to, during this 13 days, get our bellies to the ground, to, really wear against that old serpent skin that we're shedding and really wriggle through our discomfort and whatever might stir up in us, that do not lose sight of the bigger picture. Hold that part, that even though it might feel like things get a little fiery over the next couple of weeks, remember there is a bigger picture. That if we take a moment using our breath to use our breath like, the air, the wind under the eagle's wings, to take flight, and just take a moment, take a pause during your days regularly, as often as you can during these 2 weeks, to remember to come back and connect to that bigger picture through your breath, through spirit. And then allow that wisdom, that sight, to be able to drive your actions. So they're sacred actions that come from the heart, that come from our higher self, as opposed to coming from fear, if that makes sense. So this is the first wave spell, the first 13-day cycle of a grander 52-day cycle that has just begun as well yesterday together. And this 52-day cycle is known as the Castle of Burning in the Mayan Dreamspell work. And you will see a theme in all of these 4 wave spells, that 4 sets of 13 days that makes up a 52-day cycle. And you'll see a theme in them all. And it starts with the Red Serpent, this activating life force, this, shedding of old skins. And it will move forwards through, these next 3 wave spells in this process of burning away the old stories, the old belief systems. And it's very easy to get a little carried away in thinking, yeah, great, the collective needs to sort their belief systems out. Great, I hope my family and my whatever and everyone else sorts their belief systems out, because my God, I'm seeing everything as it needs to be, but I can't get anything done because everyone else has got it wrong and I need to wait until they burn that away. It's tempting. But the one thing that I found in my pursuits of over all these years is there's only one person that needs to change. There is only one person that needs to go through this 52-day cycle, and that's me. Because in the end, what I'm reacting to outside of me is a reaction. It's a fear-based trigger that's happening. And as long as any of us are continuing to carry these old survival programs, these old triggers, it's going to be very hard to have conversations. And the method through this is not going to be to make more rules and more laws to say you're not allowed to say this. You cannot legislate safety into the world. Because as soon as a centralized power controls what's okay and what's not, what's considered safe or not, we've lost all of our sovereignty, all of our authority to author our own experiences. And we move into a collective authoring of experience that sadly cannot take note of each individual within it, and often is tuned to the wrong song. So through this 52-day cycle, and this 13 days especially is going to get fiery and there's going to be a lot of heat. That's mutation. That's what we came for. And remember that it's not about mutating everyone else, but it's about taking this time to do the work for ourselves. And I promise you, you do this work for yourself, and it can take time. There's no quick fixes in this world, not like this. There's no fun in that. The more you embrace the adventure of self-discovery, the more you embrace the adventure of cultivating self-awareness, to be able to see that moment where I'm being a little bit of a dick and it's a little bit awkward to have to admit. But when you can look at that with non-attachment and go, yeah, I was just being a dick, then all of a sudden, it becomes a giant game that we're playing here on planet Earth, on this timeship Earth. Instead of a planet of suffering that we're all trying to escape, it becomes a game that we are blessed to have got front row seats to play. So enjoy the Red Serpent Wavespell. Make sure you stay connected to that higher vision, and I'll see you on the other side.